Next. Okay, old business. Sorry, I'm gonna get this request up too, sorry. Okay, so Terry Murphy has reached out. He had reached out to request a meeting with both Kim and myself and Steve to come and meet with their steering committee. And I just said, unfortunately, the way we do any requests for committees is it goes through the school board and then we nominate somebody and send it out. So then he has further discussion. House Bill 349 authorized the formation of a steering committee from residents of our member towns. Those individuals have already been selected and appointed. My invitation was to have you as the SAU chair, the vice chair, and superintendent. We would simply like to meet with the SAU leadership team to determine the level of interest. The steering committee's function is to develop an action plan for the withdrawal process from SAU 4 and the formation of our own district. Since the legislation is unique, the RSA 198 doesn't apply, hence the formation of the steering committee. If there is interest in meeting, we would like to talk about and organize a more formal structure on how to continue the conversation similar to what is happening in your negotiations with Hill. Our committee has begun mapping out our structure plan, and so we can periodically update, educate the citizens of our 3 towns. We have interest in continued and mutually beneficial relationship with SAU 4. It is the preference of many of our committee members. While we have preliminarily explored viable alternatives, it simply makes more sense to make an attempt at a continued relationship. So this is our initial and official outreach to SAU 4. I had told him I just time-wise couldn't be on that delegation. Obviously, we would accept and welcome a substitute appointed by you. I would suggest it not be a member from one of our towns for conflict of interest reasons, but that's your prerogative. So he's just asking our accept of the invitation for an initial discussion. So.
Is that from Terry?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask
initial is this discussion? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of money involved in all this, and I don't want to hear it secondhand, quite honestly.
Right. That's why he had originally asked for Kim, myself, and Steve to go meet with him. And every policy that we have is if there's a committee or something along those lines that it's appointed by the chair and it's voted on by the board. So I didn't feel it was appropriate because it is a steering committee, and to me it's a significant change in funding and numbers, and yeah, it's the potential for a significant change that I felt it not a decision I make, that it's a decision we as a board discuss. I do agree with Terry that unfortunately it shouldn't be somebody already from Bridgewater, Hebron, and Groton as the SAU representative from the board. I don't think it's a bad thing to have 2 people there just because it is the potential, as Robin said, to be a very busy / potentially disagreement, contentious discussion. I don't know how it's going to go. So I'm bringing it to the board.
Clarifying question, just so that I'm sure that I understand. They are doing this in anticipation of it passing all 3 towns, correct? Because they aren't actually forming their own school district until theoretically in March, all 3 towns pass, right?
It has to, so House Bill 349 says it has to go to a vote in March of 2024. That was one of the, that was the change that occurred. So, but with that being said,
They have to have a plan in place in case it does? Is that what's going on?
yes, they have to kind of get all their ducks in a row. They have to inform their voters of the potential. I mean, they have to, I would assume they would come up with some sort of budget. I don't know.
That's why I'm asking. I just want to make sure I know.
But he said it was a steering committee. And if I remember correctly, House Bill 349 had some sort of withdrawal thoughts, plans on there. I just don't.
Did he mention meeting with any other districts with potential collaboration
All
for that committee, or just our district?
In the email I got,
He said we have interest in continued and mutually beneficial relationship with SAU 4. It is the preference of many of our committee members. We have preliminarily explored viable alternatives. It makes more sense to make an attempt at a continued relationship, so this is our initial and official outreach to SAU 4. So it sounds like they've done some preliminary of other options, but they have come back to SAU4 to have these discussions.
In the
Well, I think
correspondence
it's
I
easier
got.
and with the kids and from, that are already involved here to stay, it makes sense. I mean,
Right.
the plan isn't to, I would think, they don't want a complete divorce. I think that the ultimate plan is to work with the district in just a different fashion that may be beneficial for somehow, some way for everybody. The discussions need to start, so I think that's.
Yeah, I just
that's
wanted to make sure that I understood what the purpose of the committee was.
Right, he
Yeah.
called it a steering committee, so,
I would assume it's to educate the voters and themselves on what's possible.
What it's actually gonna cost maybe, or getting a better idea.
Yeah, I would hope.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
yeah.
I would imagine it's trying to understand, is there also an agreed, a mutual benefit to continuing the relationship? That's gotta be part of the messaging prior to the vote.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they won't know. That's the big unknown prior to the vote. So nothing's gonna be written in stone,
That's right.
right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's an important part of, I think, those discussions.
But remember, we also have a vote in March, there could be different board members, our board member could be made up
That's very
differently.
true.
What we say may be completely different makeup in next March versus the March after, which is before they pull out of the district where, and if there is a contract for an agreement, it has to go out to the other 4 towns.
Right.
You know, our contract with Hill, we make the negotiation, but then it has to go on warrant article, right? Yeah, okay. I thought that- It has to go to a warrant article to the other towns too. So it's not just the reps here at this table.
Mhm. Yeah, if we got to the point where Hill would be wanting to join the district, that would have to be passed in Hill and then passed by the cooperative, all, whatever that cooperative was
Right.
like at that time.
But just like with the teachers, with the union contract, you know, with our
Exactly, yeah.
contract, even with the Bridgewater Hebron Village District contract, we renegotiated the contract, but then it still went
Yeah.
on a warrant article to pass to continue the working relationship that we had in the past. So I would anticipate if there was a new agreement that it would still have to go to the voters.
The Hill's just tuition, yes, I
Right.
understand what you're saying.
But see, the tuition agreement still goes to the voters of the SAU4, right?
No,
No.
that
That's
goes
just
to
a
the
contract.
voters of Hill.
Just Hill? Okay.
Yeah, that's just a
I can't
contract.
keep remember everything.
Yeah, no, the
Of what goes to the-
tuition is just them, but if they were to join the cooperative, then
Right.
we
then it
all
would.
have to vote
So we
on it.
wouldn't, I don't know how, if they tuitioned in, I guess there's,
It'd be the same thing as Hill.
gotcha, okay, so then it wouldn't have to go to the other 4 towns.
Pick one, and that would be you guys.
Yeah.
Right, okay. And I think it'll be unique anyhow, and I'm sure we'll have to get clarification from the state anyhow to make sure all the ducks are in a row anyhow, if that were, as things move along, so that we're doing them correctly.
So we need to,
So do we want to do 1, do we want to do 2, do we?
What's the temperature of the board?
Right.
Do we want to do it at all? Right?
Robin does.
I think Robin,
I think
Robin
does.
needs to be a
Well,
part of
I
it for the
just want the
financial.
information out there correctly. That's my
Exactly.
concern, and
Yeah,
I don't want numbers floating out there that have absolutely no meaning. So,
Mhm.
right,
that's.
which we've had happen, right?
Yep.
Yep.
No, I guess I'm just wondering, is that this is what's being proposed, but is this the right, I mean, we have another thing happening right now where you're gonna be visiting, you're gonna be meeting select boards. You know what I mean, in parallel to this, I just know if it's the right way to, I'm not saying it isn't, but
Right.
the right way to communicate around this very, very important topic.
Because also, if it's a committee, we would hope that the meetings that they're going to have would be noticed and open to the public, so
Right.
that we could advertise and members of the public would be part of it. I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
especially
the
if-
intent or not for the steering committee.
But it would have to be, because if
It-
one of
right,
our
it
board
would have
members
to
were
be.
on it, it would have to be. And it would have to be on the SAU website too.
I
I
like
think
that.
I think that's critical for transparency.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that too.
I think having a committee is.
Yeah. So do you guys think we should do 1 person or 2? What's the temperature of you guys?
I think 2 people.
Two makes sense.
I agree.
Two makes sense.
Do you guys
Dominic
agree?
and I.
Because it's pretty much between us four, because they can't do it.
I would have done it, I swear.
Right, nor can Britta.
So
So it comes down to the four of
Comes
us.
down to four of us, she can't do it. I'm on the hill,
Oh,
I
and
don't
Britta
think
can't
that's a
do it.
conflict.
No,
So, you gonna draw straws? Like,
I just can't do another committee, to be honest.
As long as it doesn't interfere with me going to my delegate assembly.
I don't think they're gonna have.
It's a
a
Saturday
meeting.
morning, you're good.
I'm happy to be a part of it. I don't mind.
How long is this going to last for? Like, is
Till
this gonna be
March, I
like a
imagine.
6-month thing, a year?
Until their vote in March, I would imagine.
So just till March? So-
I would think so. There may be, it may change, it may grow, it may shrink, it may be 2 meetings.
Because they have to bring legislation in March. They may find, and this is purely hypothetical, they may find that it's not financially viable, and they may not even bring it to their voters in March. So there's really no telling until they start doing the work.
So I make a motion that we have 2 representatives for the steering committee with Bridgewater Hebron Village District.
Second.
Actually, I should say House Bill 349, because I don't know if it's technically, because they're trying to form an SAU for. They're trying to form a new SAU. Sorry, so not the Bridgewater Hebron District, but right, SAU, House Bill 349. Does that make sense, Ruth?
So you made a recommendation that there be 2 representatives for the steering committee
For House Bill 349.
for House Bill 349. Thank you.
Yep.
Second.
And Tom seconded.
And Tom seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Next, I nominate Kim and Joe to be on the committee with, regarding House Bill 349. I need a second.
Second.
No, Joe and Kim. Did I say Tom?
No, you said
Okay.
Joe.
Okay, Kim and Joe to be on the
I'm
committee.
getting tired.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's late.
Fa-
It's
I'm
past
fa-
your bedtime.
I'm fading, sorry.
too.
All right,
Who seconded it?
I did.
Nate did.
Who did? Nate? Thank you.
Okay. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Next, civil engineering study.